Hey guys, I'm going to go ahead and move us into the live channel. I'll give you a cue when we actually start being live and such. Alright, we should be live. Yeah, just give it one more second. I want to make sure it's looking good on stream. I think everything's set. Yeah. Looks good. I'm ready whenever you are.
Child, tuck yourself in bed and let me tell a story of Lemuria, a long-lost kingdom, and a girl born for glory. In Austria was a crown land ruled by a duke. Aurora was his daughter, child of a duchess mysterious, beloved by her father. He raised the girl alone. They were rarely apart, till the duke felt lonely and misplaced his heart. It was the Great Friday before Easter 1895. Players performed for the Duke, his new bride at his side. That night, Aurora went to sleep. The fire burned down low. She caught a chill that spread. Her skin was cold as snow. At dawn they found her, vacant, Aurora's light gone out. Her father wept and pleaded, but there could be no doubt. For all intents and purposes, Aurora was dead. And yet, once upon a time, she awoke in a strange land instead.
I think it's fixed.
Scripted, if that's the proper word, to make it easier because we're going to be at extremely low levels. We use Igniculus to control the...
Basically, we were controlling the entire fight by just
Right.
slowing down the enemies well enough so that we're pretty much on top of the whole fight. I don't know if we're still... Are we still having audio issues?
Seems so.
Audio issues have now been fixed.
Okay.
So you have to reintroduce yourselves.
So the other thing that we see in battles is at the bottom of the screen. There's this little bar with the weight and the cast bar. If you guys are familiar with Grandia, it's pretty much the same exact thing. So we can see everything, actions that are coming up. You can see whose turn's coming up, whether it's the allies or the enemies. And when you enter an action, you have to quote-unquote cast it. And if you ever get hit while you're trying to do an action, your action gets interrupted and you kind of get set back on the ATV bar. This applies to us and the enemies, so the whole point of us slowing down enemies in fights is basically just so that we're either interrupting them when we want to, or sometimes we're deliberately not interrupting them, depending on which fight we're in. And
Right. Some bosses have some really harmless interruption counters, and some have extremely unfortunate interruption counters. So we take note of that when we run the game. And a lot of that is based on, Igniculus and using him well.
So we're kind of coming up to the end of the really only platforming part of the game. I do kind of wish they added more straight-up platforming in this game, because I think it's interesting, but once we get past the first boss, we get wings, and why would you ever walk around when you have wings?
Right. And we're coming up on our first little technical portion of the game here. Takaze is going to use the box that you will see here in the upper left corner. We're just going to abuse some pixels and skip the way this was actually supposed to be done.
So yeah, the intended way of us solving this quote-unquote puzzle is we're supposed to take that box in the upper right and kind of push it all the way over to the right, jump on a platform, push another box to get to a platform. But we're going to basically, hopefully, if I don't mess this up, just skip a few parts to be able to get to the platform we want to. No, I already messed that up. There we go.
Here we go. Second try is always good. So we have named this the box jump.
Yep.
Very original.
We jump on a box. People called it that before I was around.
And so originally is, as I said, we're supposed to push it all the way to the right. Well, we're not going to do that.
Yeah,
we like to save time.
You can see where you're kind of supposed to go.
And doing this saves about 18 to 20 seconds.
So to give a little bit of, I guess, backstory on me, this is the first game that I've actually speedrun. Speedran would be the right word.
Speedrun.
Yeah, this was the first game I picked up. I picked it up at the start of this year, and I pretty much, after watching AGDQ this year, I was like, you know what? I've been liking this speedrun thing for a while. I should just do it, and I did it. And for whatever reason, I picked this game. I enjoyed it casually, so I thought it might be interesting to run, and it is.
Myself, similarly, I started playing this game casually at maybe the start of this year, and kind of put it down because I'm pretty sure I got stuck on Griffin. And after I watched Essentia do her run for RPG Limit Break with her adorable little daughters, I just had to back up again. And then I found out about Takaze speedrunning this game, and I thought that was just so neat, so I decided to start speedrunning at the end of June.
By the way, this is Boss. So something else we didn't mention is these little wishes that the game teaches you about right when you get a Nicholas. That's the other thing a Nicholas does in a fight, is you can activate these wishes, and what they do is they, at least in casual, which I am playing in casual because expert's just too hard for me, they recover a little bit of HP and MP and also light meter. And in this fight, it's particularly important because I want to be able to cast 3 Starlights, which is Aurora's main spell, and I only have enough MP for 2. And you can kind of see, you can kind of see how much I am abusing Aniculus slowing to be able to constantly interrupt that second statue. He never got a turn off, just because I'm interrupting him constantly. That fight went pretty normal. That was a pretty good fight. I kind of wish I got a crit, just because, you know, hey, that would have made things go faster.
Free world records.
So just a bit of a warning. It's going to look a little bit weird here. What I am doing...
skip here?
Yeah, I'm going to be skipping a cutscene, and the way Tachyon kind of handles this, it just kind of gets it to freeze the picture while the game is closed out. But it should open, when I open it back up, it should look okay. Or it might just show my desktop. It looked like that's what it did. Way to be considerate.
We're gonna skip some more cutscenes here. Just go through all of this. This is really important, but we don't really care. It's for speedrunning.
So basically, like what this old lady's telling us to do is she wants us to find the sun, the moon, the stars. The land's kind of been taken over by this evil queen, and we have to save the land. Something like that. We're just a little girl. We just want to go home. So we kind of get a little upset at her that she's telling us to do things, and she just can't send us home. By the way, we can fly now.
She gets us a flute and sends us on our way. And we're going to be picking up some chests here and Stardust, just because we have to wait for the flute to get into our inventory.
And so Aurora wandered, the twilight forest for her home.
So we picked up a Stardust, and Stardusts are one of the really important mechanics for our run. Without it, it would be a lot more difficult.
Yeah, so once we learn the ability to fly, like we just constantly fly around because it's a lot faster. I can do the stash thing. Everywhere we need to go now pretty much is accessible flying.
Yep.
And Ghost King is singing a horrible song.
I believe I can fly.
Oh, good.
You're welcome.
So that person we just talked to is one of the characters that joined our party. Her name is Rubella. She is a jester. She's
really bad at rhyming.
Yeah, that's her little thing. If you haven't noticed, we didn't mention it. This game is done entirely in rhyme. The narration, the characters, what the characters say, is all done in rhyme. But Rubella just can't seem to get the hang of it. And she always kind of makes it to the end and then just says something incorrectly. And Nicholas gets a little upset at her because she can't rhyme. Rubella is trying to find her brother, but we don't know where to find her brother. We have no idea where he is, so we're not going to bother.
Indeed, fellow Jim. Her name is Rudella.
4. So we're coming up on our second boss. I just kind of went right by every single monster just to get to the boss. At this point, the game's pretty much a boss rush. I've done all the grinding I need to. And I'm just going to go from boss to boss, essentially.
And
There's a few stops along the way.
here, Takaze uses an MP Stardust and a Magic Stardust, and that's going to make this fight a lot easier.
Yeah, the Magic Stardust gives Aurora just enough damage so that I can kill these wolves quickly enough. So there's some few dogs that we have to kill, and most of the fights kind of... most of the fights end up panning out a little bit like this, where the boss will have some additional monsters, and we want to take them out first. Otherwise, the fights can get a little nasty.
Right. Anytime there is literally more than one monster on the screen, it gets extremely, oh boy, dangerous.
That's actually, that's okay. That's okay.
Fortunately, this dog is going to die now, so it's not the worst thing in the world. We usually don't want Aurora to die so quickly, but that's okay.
It's actually at this point it ends up being a little bit faster if Aurora dies, so she'll still get the XP at the end of the fight, so it's okay.
Right.
But as long as I'm able to keep the giant interrupted here well enough so that he never gets a turn off, this is actually faster with Aurora being dead because Aurora just does less damage at this point.
Right, and her menu takes some frames. Oh no!
Fine. It'll be fine.
So he should be dying soon. But not before he hits Rubella again.
Yeah, that was pretty okay. Little scary. I wasn't paying attention to Aurora's HP. I should have realized she was kind of in a danger zone. Should have just... something else that Nicholas can do inside of fights is slightly heal people. I very rarely do it because most of the time it's not necessary, but in a situation like that, I probably should have done it.
Let me know if this is a good time for a donation.
Yeah, sure.
Sure, go ahead.
Alright. From a great person in our community, Puexel, we have $100.
Wow.
Thank you, Puexel.
He says, put $20 Tower's naming Demon Chocobo on FFL3. Or not naming it, but putting it on. And $20 each towards naming the the FF3 characters after Nacho Yokapu's next main speed game. Hoshi, Wo, Miru, and Hito.
Thanks, Puexel. That's pretty cool. So something I'm going to be doing here is... so this is another character I'm going to get to join my party. And the game's kind of looking a little odd, you notice. And I'll explain what's happening in a second there. Hopefully I didn't mess up. So we call this the Finn skip. So normally, to get Finn in our party, we have to do this whole side quest. We have to kill a boss. It takes a whole bunch of time. But I'm kind of tricking the game to keep him in my party without doing all of that. So we'll see in a second here if I did it correctly or if I made a little error. It is recoverable even if I did make a mistake. Hey.
Yes.
So I've done it successfully. Even though it looks like we left Finn behind there, he was sitting there crying because we left him behind. He is actually in our party. And do you want to talk a little bit about how that works, Kishura?
Sure. So the way we we'll have another skip just in case you kind of missed what happened there later on. But the way the game works is that it doesn't have a save feature. It has an auto save feature. So when we pick up Finn and we go inside of the well, we simultaneously open the menu and teleport away to a different spot on the map. And the reason we do that is because the game auto-saves Finn into our party, and he's in our party when we teleport away to the altar where Aurora wakes up. And afterwards, we close out of the game when it's loading and open it back up, and the game just gets all confused and leaves Finn in our party while we can just keep going on.
Yeah, so what it's supposed to do is I'm supposed to be teleported to the well. And what happens when you get to the well is if you ever leave the well, which is the little dungeon that we're supposed to do to keep Finn in our party, is if I ever leave the well before completing it, it kicks Finn out of our party. But because we never make it to the well, the game never gets around to kicking Finn out of our party. So we never enter the well, Finn's in our party. If I were to go back into the well right now and then leave, you would see that Finn leaves my party.
So here we pick up another character, Nora, and she is undoubtedly one of the most useful characters in this speedrun. However, she's just gonna leave us later on. Spoilers, you'll see why.
Story-wise, she's your stepsister. She's surprised that she's found you here, and she's like, "Oh, well, I'll take you to go home." And Aurora is very excited.
She walked through a mirror to get here, so yeah.
So in this section, it's pretty much these little kind of puzzles just to find a path through. This game's a lot bigger than I'm making it out to be, but I know where I'm going, so I'm just kind of going right to the next section of the game. So some treasures that I just picked up, and you probably saw me pick up one earlier if you were paying enough attention, is these oculi kind of act like they're the game's form of equipment. And how they end up working is I kind of attach them to equipment slots, kind of think something like Diablo 2, and I can combine them to make more powerful oculi. For the most part, I don't rely on them too much because it takes a lot of effort to get a whole bunch of oculi to be able to craft them into the best oculi, and that would just take a whole bunch of time. Also, the oculi that we get in chests, for the most part, are entirely random.
There's one chest later on we'll pick up that's not random, but everything else is.
So we got another character in our party. His name is Robert. He has a bow. He is a rat, affectionately called Bow Rat. He is, for this next section, going to be our primary damage output because we've kind of skipped over